All men want to be rich. Rich man want to be king. Welcome to another edition of Go Figure. I'm your host, Jeff, and that's going to be the topic of tonight's discussion, the kings of professional wrestling. Now, there have been a number of them, and the differences couldn't be more stark. The first, dating back to the mid-70s, was this gentleman that I'm about to introduce. This is from the Mattel line from 2020, and this is Jerry Lawler. Now, if you lived in Memphis, Tennessee in the 1970s, or within 500 miles of it, this is really the only individual that you recognize as the king. He was immensely popular in that part of the country, and some of the older viewers here may remember his feud with Andy Kaufman, really one of the first instances of a high-profile feud where professional wrestling transcended pop culture. Andy Kaufman, of course, was a guerrilla comic who tended to blend the lines between fact and fiction. Jerry Lawler didn't particularly care for his antics. Andy claimed to be the intergender professional wrestling heavyweight champion of the world. And the two, again, feuded over the course of some time. I went on a number of late-night talk shows, and the feud culminated with Andy having his neck injured after receiving a pile driver from Jerry Lawler. Later on, Jerry went on and did color commentary for the World Wrestling Federation. I was more offered as comic relief than anything, portrayed as a lecherous old man obsessed with younger women. But before that, again, he was a highly respected wrestler, was in fact the first joint world heavyweight champion from the AWA and the now defunct, well, the AWA is defunct, but it melded with world-class championship wrestling. And he was the first joint heavyweight champion between those two leagues when they had joined forces. And he'd actually defeated Kerry Von Erich at Super Clash 3. Here's his Mattel figure. If you didn't live in the southern part of the country, everybody else tended to refer to this fella as the king. And I give you Harley Race. Whereas Jerry Lawler was yucking it up. Harley was more all business. Talked like he had a mouthful of gravel. Arms are covered in tattoos. He was a ring technician. Was an innovator of sorts. Came up with a lot of different moves, one of which was the flying headbutt. He delivered that particular move to Hulk Hogan. As Hulk Hogan laid on a wooden table outside of the ring. Hulk Hogan rolled out of the way, however, and Harley fell to the table. The table did not give way, and he sustained some legitimate internal injuries, including a hernia, which shelved him for a number of time. When he returned, there was a new king, and thus the reign of Harley Race as the king of professional wrestling ended. But his best years were beyond him well before he ever started going by the King moniker. He actually was an 8-time World's Heavyweight Champion. There's actually a really good story about him pulling a gun on Hulk Hogan out there, if you get a chance to hear it. This is his LJN figure with one of the removable crown accessories. It's yellowed a bit over time. Kind of gives you a nice idea what the character looked like. And like Jerry Lawler, he also had a Mattel Elite that came out well after his best years were beyond him. So, if you liked this episode, I'd encourage you to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you didn't like it, I just got 4 words for you. Long live the king! Thanks, folks.